What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sunday Tailgate. Happy Football Sunday. Guys, I'm your host, Stacy Perez, and I am here and I am joined with the incredible Miss Lauren Jump from RotoWire. Lauren, how are you doing this morning?
I am so good. So excited for another day of football games. So I already kicked it off early, which is great.
Exactly. Yeah, we got early action right now. Right now it's Steelers 14, Vikings 6. It's halftime right now. So I'm sure everybody is out there watching it. I threw a question in the chat real quick. I wanted to know if you could go to any international NFL game, what would it be? Is there somewhere else that you would like to go? They don't have a game yet. Lauren, are you interested in checking any of these international games out?
I mean, I would love to travel somewhere cool to watch football for sure. I think it'd be funny to kind of see like how people would react maybe somewhere in like Italy or Spain where like soccer is just such, the other football is such a big thing. And we kind of get that in Dublin and some of these other locations. But I know there's also, Americans that are living there and maybe fans of these teams. But I do think it'd be interesting to see just the differences. And I'd have to go to a soccer game too to compare, right? So
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would too. I would love to go to an overseas game somewhere, like maybe one of the London games, and they're like massive stadiums, or even the Dublin game, like would have been really cool. I've not done that yet, but I have gotten to watch football in another country. I'll tell the story real quick because it's halftime and who cares. But
yeah.
I went to Italy a couple of years ago with some girlfriends, and in Rome there is a Pittsburgh Steelers bar.
Oh my gosh,
That is It's so cool. I saw it on like I think like Fox or somebody did like a little like piece about them during a Steelers game a few years ago, and I just happened to see it. And so it's like tucked away in this tiny little side street. And I drug my friends over there. They could not care any less about football. But they're good friends, so they went with me. And time difference, it's like midnight on it, like
right.
so we're out there. It was like a Bengals Chiefs game, like that's what was
Mhm.
on. And it was like one of the coolest experiences to walk in and you're in Rome and then you see like all these Steeler flags everywhere,
Wow.
and you go in and I'm sitting there next to like some this couple from Ohio and some Australians and like just all over, like people from all over the place, like hanging out at this little bar to watch NFL football, and it was just one of the coolest experiences. So very
Love that. Well, as an Eagles fan, I grew up in Delaware, but then I moved to LA and I was shocked to find an Eagles bar in Santa Monica. And there's just it was so fun. Like it was like being in Philly at a game, except just at this tiny little Britannia pub, it was called. And it was, like normally it was just a pub, it was
yeah.
like an English style pub. And that was super fun. I moved to Newport Beach. There's an Eagles bar there. And I'm like, oh, this is
So
it's
cool.
so fun to be somewhere where you're not in that
Yeah.
big town and then like see all those fans and have like a dedicated spot. So overseas, I think would be even cooler for sure.
It's awesome. It was one of the coolest experiences of that trip, which is so funny to be like, oh, I watched
I
a
know I
game.
love that you did that in Italy because like that's
Yeah,
probably the last thing you would think to do there.
right.
I mean, that's just kind of how I guess a lot of us are, though. We would rather be doing stuff like that, which is great. I love it.
Exactly. I see Angie over in the chat. Good morning to you, Angie, our new resident of Idaho over here. She just moved, so definitely love having you in the chat, guys. Also, everybody hanging out in the chat, watching online, throw your start sit comments into the chat. We will get to those as they're rolling in. We've got one real quick right here. We can just like kick it off with. Our chef wants to know which rookie for his RB2, Samson Marks or Manungai. I hope I say his name right. I don't know if I say it right or not,
I
but
I'm not. Yeah.
gosh,
Okay. Ew.
I
Those are
know.
those are.
I think normally I would probably go with Samson, right? Because he's like got such usage in the pass game. But I mean, Quinshon Junkins is back now. Like that's kind of tough. But I don't. Maybe Woody Marks. I think I
I
might
think
go with him
Marks.
actually.
Yeah, I like Marks.
Yeah.
I'm either because I mean I think the Browns are gonna have a little bit of a hard time against the Lions defense today to begin with. So I don't know if I would want to go to the second running back in that situation.
Yeah. I think that's
The guy.
break glass in case of emergency for Samson over there. But I like Marks. Like I test, like he's looked the more explosive back. And my friend Colby Conway is actually a big Texans fan. And when I said that a couple like last week, he was like, does he look that good? Or is he just next to Nick Chubb who doesn't look that good? Like
Oh, poor Nick Chubb.
I know, and that made me sad a little bit
Yeah.
for Nick Chubb, but but
Yeah.
I think Marks, I think he's got more opportunity in that offense. And yeah, I think I would go with Marks, Chef. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, Lauren, who are you looking forward most to? What game are you looking forward most to today?
Well, I mean, there's gonna definitely be a lot of really good ones. I really am excited to watch the Giants and Chargers. Jackson Dart, his first NFL game. Like, I can't wait to see what he does. I mean, it might be nothing, but it might be something, right? Like, he definitely brings some rushing upside. It's a tough first start against an undefeated Chargers team, but with Tyrone Tracy sidelined, we'll see Scatabo become New York's future back. Sneaky PPR play, maybe. Marion Hampton should step into a bigger role for the Chargers. And then, of course, we have all three of their amazing receivers, which are confusingly not in the order we expected. But, we should see a lot of volume for them. Keenan Allen's still number one, which great. I actually drafted him in the Queen's Classic way late, and I was thinking, oh, this could be like a good late round pick. Like maybe his ADP will like go up and I'll get him low. And then I wasn't really expecting this though. So that's really, really fun. I hope it lasts the whole season because that'd be great. But yeah, Russell Wilson out. Oh, well, sorry. He did his best. And yeah, I'm just excited. I think there's a lot of fun things that could happen in this game.
I think so too. I'm glad you brought up the Queen's Classic because Lauren, that's kind of like how we met. We met at the Fantasy Football Expo this year. And we're both in the Queen's Classic together, and you absolutely destroyed my team last week. My team is so sad. I have the worst luck in that league. Like everybody just gets hurt. I'm just gonna make excuses for them. But yeah, they are a hot mess. I think we're playing each other in the women's tournament with the FFWC this week.
Oh my
also.
God, I know. I'm in way too many leagues. I promised I wouldn't do it, but here we are.
Every year.
I mean, Queen's Classic, 14 teams definitely was harder. Like, it doesn't seem like that many more teams than 12, but, when you are drafting, it's like players start to go where you thought you were going to get them. And I was in the middle. I was drafting at 8, and I never really liked the middle before this year, but I've learned to like drafting from there because you kind of get to have a turn quickly each time on each end. So we'll see. But I had some bad picks too. It's hard.
Same. I mean, I'm sitting over here having to start like Luke McCaffrey today because my poor Terry McLaurin, but nobody wants to hear about my fantasy team. So I'll move on. We got some good questions in the chat over here. Angie wants to know where to go. Here it is. Angie wants
my opponent. I can't answer your question.
Oh no, Angie, I'm sorry. We're not able
to. Maybe. All right. Or maybe I'll just give her the opposite advice. Let's see.
Angie wants to know she can't stop fiddling with this one. Laporta or Henry in full PPR. Angie knew to ask this because she knows how much I love Sam Laporta. So this is going to be like picking my favorite child for me.
Oh, well, you talk about Laporta and I'll talk about Henry then.
I love Laporta, but I would if I had the choice between the two of them today, I think I'd have to go Henry. They're playing the Panthers. Panthers are giving up a ton of points to opposing teams' tight end. Laporta's facing the Browns, and we saw how they limited Tucker Kraft last week. I just not real excited about that game for the Lions. But I think hopefully they'll win. Hopefully they don't pull a Packers and lose at the last minute like my pack did last week. So Angie, I got to go Henry for you. That's my pick, I think.
I like Henry too. I mean, he's been consistent for 3 straight weeks now. They're playing at home. He's got momentum coming into it. He's their only true full-time pass catcher. So I think he'll get some like strong target shares and probably some steady usage.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We got a Worthy who's making his season debut, and then not really, I guess after his injury. And then we've got Jamison Williams over here. Are you starting Worthy? Because I don't feel comfortable starting Worthy.
See, like only in my super deep leagues where it's like I'm hoping if he does well, it's worth a dart throw at him to do that. It's like got some upside to it. He could do well, but he probably won't. But I'm trying to make up some ground in those leagues. If I'm in like a 12 team, like more standard league, I'm not starting him.
No, listen, I mean, I know that, the Chiefs are not going to put him out there if he's not completely healthy and not able to go, but it still just really concerns me. Like his shoulder injury, like he's a wide receiver, right? He needs to be able to move his arms, have all that motion. And it just kind of makes me nervous thinking like, can he really do that? Like we were talking about that when that injury happened, like, oh my God, he's out for the season, and now all of a sudden it's week 4 and he's back. I don't trust it. I need to see it first. I think I need to see him out there. I need to view it with my own eyes before I'm ready to commit to putting him in my lineup.
Yeah, it just feels like a lot of drama has been surrounding him in general. So it's tough to let's at least give it one game and see how he does.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I hate the option is J Mo, right? Because we just talked about like the Browns and everything and how they're, but I think you kind of have to. If it's between those two, I think that's what we got to do.
Yeah.
Here we go, real quick. Fannin or God, these names, Fannin or Amanar. How are you guys saying it? Like EA is how I'm going to call him. I don't care that Aaron Andrews is the original EA. I'm going to start calling Eli
Fair.
Amanar EA.
What about EA games? It's in the
Yeah.
sports. Yeah. Ooh, I mean, yikes. I don't
Um,
know.
I think I got to go with the EA though. I mean, I think I just that's going to be a weird matchup with the Texans. The Texans are struggling, and you've got a guy here, this rookie, wide receiver that's coming in, kind of taking that wide receiver one role away from Calvin Ridley. He's looked great, and he has great chemistry with Cam Ward. I think I trust that a little bit more than the weird defensive slugfest that's going to go on with the Browns and the Lions today.
I totally agree. I mean, I don't love like either one, to be honest, but I do think that like with Calvin Ridley dropping the ball left and right, like he's just kind of out, and it gives, he'll have a better chance.
Yeah, I think so. I've got a question here in the chat that I'm seeing that looks like this might be Luigi's burner account. He wants to know who is the hot guy that was on the show last week and predicted that the Browns would beat my Packers, asking for a friend. That's definitely Luigi's burner account. Yeah, Luigi, Lauren, I'll just tell you. So Luigi was our guest last week, and he came on the show and predicted that the Browns were going to upset my Packers, and I was just highly offended by that. And then it obviously came true. So just
like barely. That was it was part of the witching hour, so I wouldn't really say they lost. They just kind of got unlucky at the end.
They did. I was watching the game at a friend's house, and I don't normally do that because I can't really trust myself to behave in public during Packers games, and I was really having to rein it in when that happened.
That was wild. That was wild
Oh
for the
my
Eagles too.
goodness.
A lot of crazy things happening at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We got one more, and then we'll move on to some of our updates and everything like that. Guys, we have got Indiana Jones or Justin Fields. He's making his return after his concussion this week down in Miami, Monday Night Football. We got not Danny Dimes. I'm not allowed to call him that anymore. Colts are facing the Rams in the 4:00 game. What do you think here?
I mean, I think Daniel Jones is not going to be as good as we saw in the first two games, I think, for the season. And last week he dropped his points to like 15, I want to say. So that might be telling, actually going down one more time. He's not going to be that consistent. I don't know why he's balling out and like throwing the ball all over the place, but I don't know if you saw him on the Manning cast last week. I didn't get like a good feeling really overall about him. I think he'll regress a little bit in his numbers. So I'm leaning towards Justin Fields. He's back. He's healthy. I think they're probably going to ball out.
I just kind of, I mean, it's hard to pick against him, right? Because he's done so well. But exactly, like it's the Rams. They have a really great defense. They've limited people. So I'm kind of with you because if you take a look at the Dolphins too, Jets are playing Dolphins Monday Night Football in Miami. Dolphins are giving up the second highest quarterback points in fantasy overall. I think I got to go with Fields on this one too. I think that's where I'm headed.
And just like the Jets always seem to beat the Dolphins, no matter how bad either team is. Like the Dolphins could be the best team of all time, but the Jets will still beat them. Like it's just like my dad was a Dolphins fan growing up, and maybe that's just like my weird memories of just like bad games happening. But I'm telling you, like the Jets always beat the Dolphins.
Always those AFC East games are always so weird. There's just always like it's whether it's the Bills in Miami always have that way, that New England and Miami always had that really weird dynamic for the longest time. So that's such a strange division. Those matchups are wild.
It definitely is, for sure.
All right, guys. So I'm taking a look. I don't see any updates yet on injuries. Usually we start getting those around 11, but as they come in, we'll kind of update you guys, make sure that everybody's got the most recent information. Some of the ones, it looks like Evan Ingram is going to be in. Loveland looks like he's not going to play. We've got Tet's going to be in. Chris Godwin is one that's going to be starting tonight. You're a big Eagles fan. Eagles are facing the Bucks down here in Tampa. This question was going around in our unwind chat earlier. I don't know if you saw it, but do we start Godwin? And this is not this is just so off script. So I'm sorry that I'm going off the
No,
rails.
you're good. I mean, again, it really depends on the league, in my opinion. Like I have like a 20 team league and I'm in like a 10 team league. I probably wouldn't start him if I had other options that like seem to give me more chances at more points, right? Like he's again, like maybe someone that if you are trying to catch up or you're 0-3 or you are in a very deep league, maybe it's a dart throw where like he could go off, he could do a lot, but he probably won't, but he could, right? So I think like I don't know how severe his injury might still be lingering or how careful they're going to be with him. We hope that like he'll be great in a few weeks, like, but today I'm not sure. It's a little soon.
He made my list of guys that you may have to start, but you're going to lower your expectations
Right.
for.
Yeah.
And I think even him and Emeka, and I love Emeka Buka. He's been phenomenal
Yeah.
so far this year, but you've got Mike Evans out, so I mean, they are going to need all hands on deck, right? Because we've got a lot of injuries with Tampa. But your exciting whites, I think, are going to be covering up those boys today. They're going to be all over, the ones I'm most looking forward to besides my Packers game today, because, battle of the unbeatens over here.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're pretty evenly matched, so I don't know. I feel like this might be a little bit lower scoring game than we probably hope in the fantasy world, but yeah, I think you have to start. Maybe you have to start him, right? But
yeah, I agree. I mean, it's hard. I mean, the Eagles, their last loss actually came like against the Bucs back in week 4, I think, of last year. They won their last 17 games where Jalen Hurts has started and finished the game. So love to keep that streak alive. Obviously, I'm an Eagles fan, but I think it's going to be a really fun matchup to watch for sure. I love Baker Mayfield. I love like he's got that dog in him, even without the Browns his team anymore. So sad that they lost him. Honestly, how dumb, but
I know, right?
He's a fun quarterback to watch. I mean, he has his bad games, but when he puts it all out there, like I feel like, it's fun.
He really has been like, I mean, I just kind of seeing the difference in quarterbacks when they come to play in Tampa. Like you saw Brady loosen up a little bit, when he came down here and became a Florida man, and now Baker's just having a complete like renaissance. So I don't know, there's just something in the humidity, I guess, that gets to the guys when they come down here.
I think it's the palm trees and just
exactly the palm trees, the 90-degree weather in the fall. It's I don't know if you saw on Twitter, the Bucks posted tips on how to stay cool during their practice, and they were just being ridiculous. And I think Payne Durham, like one of our tight ends, is like wringing out his socks, and Chris Godwin's like talking about how many glove changes and pant changes he has during practice and stuff. It was really funny.
I love it.
Highly recommend. Yeah, so we've also got Jaden Daniels out, so Marcus Mariota is going to start. We see a little bit of a revenge game there with him going to play the Falcons.
All right, yeah. I mean, it should be. I mean, Falcons too, like kind of an iffy subject at the moment with Jackson Dart and everything else happening there. But I think it could be. They might turn it around this week. Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
Like it's so fun to see him back and playing again. And,
yeah,
really excited.
Well, especially, and look, I mean, like, I get it, like, football's a business and everything, but, like, after that quarterback episode where they cut him the day after his baby was born, I was like, God, that's cold.
Yeah, totally, right? I mean, yeah, and I know, like you said, it is a business, but, I mean, that would be sad. I would definitely, that would suck.
Yeah, that seems like that's gonna be a pretty interesting, matchup today. Still checking on those injuries. Haven't really seen anything else rolling in just yet that's really fantasy irrelevant for us this morning, but I'll let you guys know as they come in. Again, thanks everybody hanging out in the chat. Throw those questions in, get those on in. Oh, look at that. We got one right here. We got Chase Brown or Khalil Shakir. Chase Brown has been pretty disappointing this season so far.
Yeah, definitely a bummer. I drafted him quite a bit, which has been hurting. And it's like, it's at the point where, again, aside from the super deep leagues, like maybe it's time to sit him. And of course, as soon as you sit him, he'll go off. But yeah, I agree. This question is so sad. Like it hurts to even admit this out loud. I don't think I've said it out loud yet. Like
right. Yeah, gosh. I can't believe it's like week 4 and I've looked at some of my teams, some of my lineups, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is gross. Like, how are we only at week 4 and it's already this gross? I think I gotta go with Shakir. I think, they're playing the Saints. The Saints are looking pretty rough, just had a really bad game against Seattle. Now they're going the opposite side of the country this week. Rattler has thrown a lot, but he's not been super efficient. So, you've got that going on that side of the ball. I just think the Bills are going to run all over the Saints.
Yeah, I'm full
Yeah,
speed ahead. Start all of the Bills players
yeah,
this week.
exactly. And the Bengals are going to have a tough road to go in Denver. They looked bad last week, so yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Shakir for me. That question is sad. Oh man. Lori, tell me about one of your starts this week. Who do you have that you are absolutely banging the table to start?
Yeah, well, I really like J.K. Dobbins this week. I mean, he's obviously the clear RB1. He's been leading Denver in carries. He has 41 carries, 222 rushing yards, and snaps 101. 3 straight games with a touchdown. He's scoring 14 to 15 PPR points each week. So with that expanded usage, he's at a season high 69% snaps, and 48% routes in week 3. So taking over passing downs as well. So to me, that's a strong week 4 outlook. They're the home favorite. The Bengals are struggling with their defense and offense, but with their defense. And I don't know, it just seems like a lineup lock to me. He definitely has like a durability risk. He's gotten hurt in the past. He's missed 47 out of 84 of his career games, and never played a full season. However, right now he's hot. He's here, and let's go for it.
Yeah. Love it. One of mine, and this is such a homer pick. So I would say I'm sorry, but I'm definitely not sorry. Guys, I'm starting everybody on the Green Bay defense. Maybe not Josh Jacobs because he's got some stuff going on. But I think you got to start all their pass catchers. And when I say like literally all of them, I mean all of them. I mean, Wicks, I mean Dubs, I mean obviously Tucker Kraft, and I really kind of think this is a big Matthew Golden breakout game. Like we've been waiting for that to happen, and I think this is it, right? So they're playing, and you got to start Jordan Love too. Obviously, that's another one, but like Cowboys defense is tops in giving away fantasy points to the quarterback. They give away 29 points per game to the quarterback and 288 passing yards per game. They are allowing the 6th most time to throw as well. So those are all just great things for any quarterback facing them. They give away the most wide receiver points as well in points per game, 50 wide receiver fantasy points. Right now, just to kind of like update you guys where everybody stands, kind of the pecking order as far as the Green Bay receivers are going. You've got Wicks has one more target over Romeo Dubs, so they're basically the same. You've got Kraft leading all of them. We all knew this. Tucker Kraft has just been an absolute stud this year. Wicks and Kraft had the same first read percentage, 19.1, same amount of first downs. Dubs slightly behind in those categories, not by much though. And then you've got Matthew Golden just kind of like waiting in the wings back there, right? He had a season high in targets last week. He caught all 4, even against the Browns there. Reed is on the IR. This is something we've been dealing with for the last few games. And I think Love is really going to lean on all of his guys. And I think also, too, like, don't forget, like, they're going to be so pissed after they lost that game. And they're going to want to make a statement in Dallas. I know, like, Micah Parsons is trying to, like, downplay the whole, like, revenge game narrative, right?
Right.
And he might. But I bet you his boys are going to come in for him and say, you know what? Like, we're going to make a statement here. We are coming back to Dallas and make them see, exactly, how dirty they did you. And
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
yeah. I
totally.
honestly, this is my actual most favorite game that I'm excited for today. So I think it's going to be crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm so sorry, Huncho. Your Cowboys. I don't want to like talk too much trash because I feel like that might come back to haunt me. But I feel good for the Packers tonight. I think that's going to be a good one. They are 22-17 over Dallas all time. So we got a nice winning record there. Yeah. Who else you got, Lauren?
Okay, let's see. Well, how about Keenan Allen? I mean, we talked about him a little bit earlier. I really hope he stays this good all year, but I mean, he's been so consistent. He's the only player in the NFL with 60 plus receiving yards and a touchdown in every game this season. And he only needs 7 more catches to become the fastest player in league history to reach 1,000 receptions. He's currently at 993 catches over 15 games. So I love that extra motivation. I love when players have like something else to kind of play for like that. So I think that, he could really go off this week. I know it's been so crazy with Ladd McConkey and Quentin Johnson, Johnson, just like who's going to be the best one. But even if I think they're all probably going to do kind of well today, I think it's going to be a pass heavy game. But Keenan Allen, I think he'll be out there and he'll be doing get you some big points.
Can I like stick on the Chargers right now? We might become a Chargers podcast because we've got some love for them. Because like you mentioned Keenan Allen, how about a Rondé Gadsden, right? Coming in, rookie tight end out of Syracuse, just getting the news that Will Dissly is going to be out today. Last week he saw a 14.9 target share against Denver. I just feel like this is kind of a fire everybody up from the Chargers kind of game, right? Against the Giants.
Yeah.
Chargers are throwing for the second most passing yards per game. They're throwing it almost 60% of the time. Giants are giving up 13.7 points per game to the tight ends position. So I think he was big on the waiver wire this week. If you were able to go get Gadsden, I think you got to start him today. I mean, unless you've got one of the elite guys, but I think he's a fun guy to fire up for this matchup today.
Yeah. Who else do you have?
All right. Well, you know what? I've got a couple other ones, but we already touched on Hunter Henry a little bit, so I don't want to go back on that. But let me grab some of these questions in here before they get too high up on the list and I forget. Tennessee Nick wants to know, oh, here's a bad one. BTJ or Swift? Oy.
Yeah.
That is a bad one, Nick. That I agree. This is rough. We got the Jags playing the Niners minus Bosa, and then you got Chicago is playing the Raiders. That's tough because that could kind of go either way. I mean, I hate to tell people to sit BTJ, right? But I mean, you took him in the first round, early second. Like that's a tough player to sit, somebody that you took that early. But it's not like he's actually been producing for you. So I get the question.
Yeah. I mean, Swift seems like he's going to be healthy and play. So there was a question mark earlier in the week, which would have made this question a bit different, but it sounds like he's good to go. So, I mean, I would imagine if he's good to go, he's going to have a good role.
Yeah, I think so too. Let me take a look real quick. If you were looking at running back points, here we go. The Bears, no, I'm looking for the Raiders. Where did you go? Raiders are fairly stout against, opposing teams and running backs. So that might give me a slight edge to BTJ. Lauren, sometimes when I have these questions and I can't really decide, my tiebreaker is to go to the Vegas lines and see what Vegas says about who's predicted higher yards. And I let that be my my tiebreaker sometimes. So Nick said he was your keeper in a $100 league, kept him out of the 10th round. I got it for BTJ. That's a tough one. We got Brittany over here. Brittany Miss Foxworth. What's up, girl? Yeah, she is definitely our graphic god in the chat over here. All right, we got a couple other questions to get to. Here we go. BCM. I'm guessing that's Bill Crockett Merritt, Krosky Merritt. So JCM, as I like to call him, because I just can't call him Bill. That's just really weird for me. I can't do it. Or Ollie Gordon. God, that's a question too, man. Like week 4, everybody.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm gonna have to go with Krosky Merritt on this one. Ollie, I wouldn't. I don't know. That's a big risk. I mean, he probably will get some usage, but I wouldn't expect that much from him, especially against the Jets. I think the Jets are going to shut the Dolphins down. So,
yeah, I agree. I mean, that's tough because, the situation in Washington, right? You've got the 3-headed monster there you got Chris Rodriguez, you got, McNichols, and then you got Bill as well. So I think, like last week we saw Chris Rodriguez getting, the higher amount of attempts, but we get the touchdown going to McNichols. So, I think it's one of those gross things where you're just never going to know who's going to get it, who's going to be the guy that week. But I mean, I just don't know if I can trust Ollie Gordon from week to week. I think he's probably going to sneak in there and get those, touchdowns like he did last week, causing our good friend Chuck to have to text his ex. I'm sure everybody saw that tweet. That was pretty hilarious. Yeah, I think I gotta go Bill. That feels just a little bit more comfortable to me, a little bit more consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like we got a touchdown over here in the Steelers. Is that Kenny Gainwell getting in the end zone again?
No way.
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Who raise your hand if you started Kenneth Gainwell this morning after you got the Jalen Warren news? If you did, I want to see some. Go online. Send me a picture of your lineup. If
Well,
you
my
actually
husband
started.
started him, and I just heard someone cheering downstairs. So I think that's why.
I was just lucky enough to get that news in time to take Warren out of my lineup.
Well, that was
And
a bit of a surprise this morning. Like,
yeah,
what? A good
yeah,
thing I woke up early enough to just be here. But yeah, that was
exactly.
not expected, really. So
No, it definitely. I mean, I saw that he, is a little bit, banged up, but I didn't think that he was actually going to miss. He made the trip over there, there must be something going on. Here we go. Arthur Smith. Oh, Arthur Smith, count your days. Is JCM healthy? That's a great question. So I'm
yeah,
going to scroll through real quick,
you see
make
there's
sure
any
I haven't missed
updates. He's
anything.
definitely not been like 100% for today, but I mean, I know he has a knee problem going on. Let's see.
He is active.
Yeah.
According to I got Bleacher Nation news up here. He is active. Godwin and Tristan Wirfs also playing today. They are going to be active as we expected. Yeah. Chuba Hubbard, Ted McMillan also active. So yeah. All right. Yep. Brittany says she just got the alert that he is playing. Absolutely. All right, Brittany wants to know, we got to sit one. We got to sit Gino, we got to sit Baker or Goff. My thoughts lean Goff, but I feel like that's dangerous because I wasn't a big fan of his against Baltimore, just with him being on the road. But like, oh, I don't know that I can say after that performance, I don't know that I
This
could
is
say ever
tough.
bench enough.
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, I know everyone has Geno fever. I just don't. I just haven't. I don't feel it yet. It doesn't mean it's not real. I do. These are all hard matchups. I mean, Goff is against the Browns, so I don't. Oh wow. I think Goff will do well. I mean, him and Amon-Ra will probably at least get rack up some points together. But I hope the Eagles shut down Baker. But I think he'll do pretty decent still too. So I would almost lean towards Geno, but that's probably not the popular opinion here.
No, I mean, I kind of agree. I mean, I think that game will be kind of an offensive, barn burner, I guess is the word. I was trying to think of something a little bit better than
Shootout.
that, but yeah, shootout. Thank you. But I just don't know. I don't know. Out of those three, I think, Baker over here putting up 20 points per game. Jared Goff is doing Jared Goff things, just about the same. And then we got to scroll pretty far down to find where Geno's coming in at 15.6. That's his average. So I think, Brittany, I think I got to start. I got to go with Lauren here. We got to sit Geno, I think. And that'll probably come back to haunt us.
Oh, we have someone speaking. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Get well soon.
Yeah. It's Pacheco week. I feel like we need to explain.
Yes,
You got to explain that in the chat because
you
it
mean
has not
Pacheco
been
on my bench week, maybe.
same. I have to start him in one league.
Yeah.
That's just one of those where I have to.
Yeah.
But I'm not excited about it. I am definitely not.
It's been disappointing. That's been tough. I mean, obviously we didn't draft him in like the first, second, or third round or anything like that, but it still seemed like a good value pick for where he was going in the draft. But he's averaging just like 9 touches and 35 yards per game, which is not good. There's no efficiency there. No explosive runs. It's just the Chiefs, I mean, have been kind of iffy already themselves, but him on top of that, like, I thought for sure I was getting him at a great ADP and he was going to be balling out by now. So,
I mean, if you have a week where Patrick Mahomes is your leading rusher, we got problems. We've definitely, things have not gone the way that you would have hoped at that point.
But they're in Baltimore. Yeah. That's going to be tough for sure.
Yeah. We got a little Eastbound and Down reference there. Definitely love a little Will Ferrell from that show. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go check it up on YouTube. I'm sure you can find a nice clip of Will Ferrell and Eastbound and Down. Yeah, let's get to our sits. Let's, we touched on, I think, all of our unless, Lauren, do you have any more before we move on? Any more starts?
No, I think we covered most of it for now.
Yeah, we both love Hunter Henry this week. I think we touched on him just a little bit, but man, what a steal. Can you just gosh, what a steal. Like you either drafted him as one of your last picks or you got him on waivers early this year. And tight end 3 on the season. I love it.
Yeah, it's crazy and such a great matchup against Carolina
Yeah.
this week. Red zone weapon.
Yep.
It's great. I mean, I can't believe he's leading all the tight ends in red zone looks and touchdowns
Yeah.
this year, and he's coming off a really great game. So
Exactly. And it's not like the Pats wide receivers have been any kind of consistent at all.
right.
So give it, and Hunter Henry, led the team in I believe in targets and receptions last season too. And everybody wants to forget about that. But
Yeah.
yay to the olds.
Yeah.
Love it.
So go Hunter.
All right. So Lauren, give me one of your sits for this week. Who are you not excited about?
Well, Pacheco is one of them. We just talked about him. So, I mean, yeah, he couldn't even capitalize on a favorable matchup last week. And like I said before, like now they're playing Baltimore. So I don't feel good about him. I am starting him in one league where, again, he's, one of my few options in a deep league. But in the smaller one I'm in, no, I mean, it's just not going to happen. And then I would also say Calvin Ridley is just someone that I cannot feel good about right now. Like he just had a big week 3 flop. 1 catch on 7 targets for 27 yards against the Colts. He's in a big disappointment. I mean, he's outside the top 70 receivers in scoring, but he was top 30 ADP in draft capital this year. So, I mean, he just keeps dropping the ball. Like he's a league worst 19% drop rate among all the receivers with 20 or more targets. So nope, not for me.
I hear you. And like I was getting him as kind of like a later, wide receiver, thinking, okay, he had a really good year last year. And, look who was throwing him the ball last year, right?
Yeah.
Will Levis,
Right.
I didn't even remember who else was there. So I was like, oh yeah, he'll be great. Rookie QB, they'll hit it off. This is perfect. And man, what a disappointment. This has been rough for Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. And he almost fits into that Fade Parade category, like a trendy name that everyone loves to talk about Calvin Ridley, but no one wants to watch him play football anymore, which is sad.
That is sad. That's rough. Man, I've got a couple for you this week. My first one's gonna be, and this might be a little controversial since everybody just paid absolute insane money for him on Fab. Juwan Johnson, from the Saints tight end. Like I said, they're facing off against the Bills. Bills are locking down opposing tight ends, only allowing 4.7 points per game. He kind of came back to earth a little bit against Seattle. And now, like we talked about, Saints going other side of the country. Seattle was, and this is one thing too that you can't say, well, it was just a really good defense with Seattle, even though it was, but they were giving up the second most points per game to tight ends, before that. So set up for him to be successful, even in a pretty icky looking offense with the Saints. But I'm not, like I said, Rattler not being particularly efficient. He is throwing a lot, but if it's not going to go, to the right guys, if it's not going to be catchable balls, those kind of things, that's going to be tough for anybody to be really successful there. I do like Kamara today for them, but I just, as far as like tight ends go, John Johnson, he's probably one that you did pay a lot for, unfortunately, but I'm not excited. I wouldn't be starting him up today if you have other options. And then this one, I just feel like this is almost like low hanging fruit a little bit at this point, but Travis Hunter. I feel like you're probably already right.
Yeah,
It does. Because I feel like if you have him, you were probably already thinking like, okay, like, do I go ahead and bench him? Like, at what point is this gonna, this actually going to work? Here's your permission. You can bench him. And I'm gonna rant for just a minute about expectations for rookies. Like we always get really excited during, the draft in the off season and everything, when we're doing like all of our drafts, and we're getting all these rookies, we're taking them at like crazy price, like just rounds way higher than the guys that are already, established vets in the league. And that's what happened with Travis Hunter here. Like, we're taking him super, super early, expecting him to come off and just be this like Shohei Ohtani phenom, right? Where he can play both sides of the ball. And I'm sure he can, and maybe later in his career, this will work out a little bit better. But like, I think it's so ridiculous to come in and think that rookies are going to most of the time immediately produce. And some have like, look at Emeka Egbuka, he's a stud, right? But exception to the rule, I think, here. And Travis Hunter probably will get a little bit better as it goes on during the season, right? Because that's just what happens, right? You adjust to the NFL, like you get used to the game speed and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure he'll be better towards the end of the season. But like also, I was thinking during, the summer, like, right, like, man, it's already tough enough on these rookies to come in and learn, how to be NFL players. And then you're going to make him learn two positions at the same time. And like, not even two offensive positions, like a tight end, or maybe you're blocking and then you're, the passing game too. But like, you're learning both sides of the ball, like, again, in the NFL game. And I just was like, thinking to myself all throughout the summer, like, God, if they'd really make him do this, if they have him out there, I just feel like it's such a mismanagement of his development, like, and that's going to slow him down and not make him as productive. And maybe we just focus on the offense at first and then, slowly integrate the defense. But whatever, I'm not an NFL head coach, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But it just seemed like a huge, I don't want to say it just seemed really like tough for him to be expected to come in and be a star on both sides of the ball right away. And I think that's what a lot of people expected. So I'll stop my rant on Travis Hunter, but
no, yeah, those are a lot of really good points. I mean, it's rare to see a player like this. I mean, but yeah, his usage has really gone in the wrong direction on offense at least. But I mean, I know last week he did well in defense. So it's like, it's crazy that he's on both sides of the ball like this. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. So everyone, when you hear that, that about a player, it's hard to imagine him not doing well. And we've seen it happen time and time again. But he had his first, I guess his best game was the first game of the season, I think, right? Yeah. He caught 6 of 8 targets. He had 33 yards, and that's just we haven't even matched that yet. So I'd love to see him do better, but he is young and there's some time to improve. But the Jags are also just kind of a hot mess anyway. So,
well, exactly. And I mean, they're only passing for about 214 yards per game. They've got a negative EPA. Like you said, he only saw 2 targets last week, and he's got 76 total yards on the season. That's it. Not 76 per game, 76 total. Okay.
Yeah.
And the Niners are going to limit, wide receivers in fewest fantasy points. And, obviously they've lost Bosa, so there's going to be, some of that, baked in as well. But yeah, it's just not a good time if you're a Jags wide receiver owner in fantasy, for sure.
I'll say boomer bust for week 4.
Yeah. Definitely. Who else you got? Who else are you not super excited about? Anyone else jump into mind?
I mean, I don't know. I think that really sure. I think like I said before, like I want to start everyone on the Bills. Like I feel like good about that. There's a few other players that are making me nervous. I mean, like Dallas Goedert's one of my tight ends in a lot of leagues, and I don't feel great about him. So like if you have a better option, like it might be worth going for it. I mean, Eagles passing game is in question. It was better last week when they were down against the Rams, so they had to make up for it. And so when we did see that pressure put on them to get in that situation to actually win the game, like they were able to air it out and get some yards like with receivers and tight ends. But at the same time, I don't know if that's going to continue, especially today against Baker Mayfield in the Bucs. So that's another one I'm a little worried on.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, since you are a Philly fan here, and I know a lot of us have been really struggling with what do we do with AJ Brown? What do we do with Devontae Smith? Like those guys that we drafted so early that are such talented wide receivers. And it seems like, I mean, like, Philly's a run first offense, as they should be, with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, right? But like, do we have hope that, everything's going to be okay, that, we can start these guys without like worry? What do you think?
I don't feel that I think we are going to be worried. It's just like the Eagles are going to be a good team overall, but they have so many different ways that they can win games, especially with the quarterback that they have in Jalen Hurts. The tush push is crazy. Like, I mean, they literally can like get points and yards in so many different ways. And our defense has been pretty decent as well, depending on obviously who we're playing. But that makes it tough to trust. But I think it's really hard because you look at like every single week of fantasy, like, oh, how many points did he get me? Oh, he got me 0 this week. But it's like, I try to think of like the whole season, fantasy season overall too. Like how many good games is AJ Brown going to have? How many good games is Devontae Smith going to have? And then who else do you have on your team to like paired with those other receivers so that like if they are having a down week and they get you only a few points, like do you have someone else that's good enough to lift you up in that situation? So I think it really depends on like the build of your team. If you have someone that's consistent to go with those players, if you have two boom or bust like receivers as your two main ones, like then I think you're kind of in some trouble. So again, it kind of just really depends on that for me.
Yeah. I didn't have a lot of AJ Brown places, but I did have Devontae Smith kind of sprinkled in a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys that can get you a 0 or he can go off like he did last week, and
Right.
it's hard to know which week it's going to be, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. My last one that I'm just going to kind of lower expectations on is Jamar Chase. And I feel weird saying this because it's Jamar Chase, right? But they looked bad, and not they, I say Jake Browning looked bad last week, against Minnesota. Obviously, Chase is going to draw Surtain today. And, I didn't really think going into like the Burrow injury that like I would really have to downgrade the Bengals offense that much. But man, I think it might be time to rethink that.
See, it's almost a curse of the first round pick, first pick in fantasy, right? Like, especially knowing Joe Burrow is going to be the quarterback to that number one guy. Of course, we have Jamar Chase, and now we have CeeDee Lamb out this week. So definitely a weird kind of situation for first rounders. And yeah, I don't feel good about the Bengals. I avoided them like the plague, honestly, this year because I've been burned by Joe Burrow in the past, and I just did not feel good. Luckily, I didn't get the first overall pick in any drafts anyway, so it worked out. Because, I mean, how do you not take Jamar Chase if you're number one? But maybe I just got lucky that way.
Right. I didn't have him anywhere last year, and I really regretted it because I was really worried about Burrow's wrist injury. And then this year I thought, well, so anytime I did have, I didn't take him every time I had the one because I like to switch it up a little bit, but I definitely have more of him than I probably have in the past. And it's been really disappointing, unfortunately,
Yeah.
But such is fantasy, right? Laura, let's move on real quick. Do you have any fun little DFS betting props that you might be jumping into today?
Okay, so this one I like really could not decide about. But like Scatabo, like I kind of like him for an anytime touchdown. I know he's already scored in the first 3, but like with Tyrone Tracy out, I don't know if I like him better for an anytime touchdown or maybe his over on yardage, which I think is around like 50, low 50 something. I don't know. He's such a stud. He's a scat man. Like we had a meme go viral about him on our RotoWire Instagram account this week, and it's just like flooding our inbox with so many comments and shares and people getting super hyped on this guy. He is just crazy to watch. I don't know if you really look at his highlights all put together, like, oh my God, he is like a stud. And hopefully the Eagles get him just from the Giants eventually, just like they did with Saquon Barkley. Maybe we'll just keep stealing all their studs that they don't use correctly. We'll see. But I don't know. I'm excited about him. I know it's going to be a tough matchup for him. And Jackson Dart's first NFL start like definitely makes it more of a wild card. But I think it's going to be a fun player to watch this week. And I'm excited to take some of his props.
Love it. All right. Speaking of the Giants, real quick, we got a Dart or Cam Ward today.
I would not start Dart.
No, I wouldn't either. Not in his first game, not against the Chargers. I think that's a tough matchup for him to be asked to for his very first start. Although Cam Ward also, didn't have a great first week matchup against Denver either, but they're playing the Texans. I think I'd feel a little bit more comfortable with Ward. I don't think either one of them is going to get you more than probably like 12, 15 points max today, but
I mean, I don't know. The Titans are 0-3. Cam Ward hasn't been like totally awful, right? But his completion rate is not. He's like what I think like 55-ish% completion rate. 3 turnovers in 3 games, which is 1 interception and 2 lost fumbles. 15 sacks. That's pretty grim. The sacks are a lot for me. That can't feel very good, and mentally that can't be good either. So
no,
I don't know. The Tennessee offense, they've yet to score more than 20 points in a game or even get more than like 280 yards. So that's tough. Yeah. I don't feel good about him, but Jackson Dart makes me more nervous. So
right. Yeah, I agree. I'd hate to play the Chargers, so I think I'd rather get the Texans if I've got to pick one of those guys. Real quick, also we have got Stafford or Mariota. Ooh,
Stafford for me. I think they're going to air. That's going to be like up in the air for that game. I think Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua are going to be studs like usual, and I think Matt Stafford should do pretty well.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I know Washington, looked pretty good last week, even though I just I worry about the backup quarterbacks doing it 2 weeks in a row. I mean, we're already seeing Carson Wentz. He looked great last week. Now he's, we don't even have a touchdown from Minnesota over here. We've got 2 field goals. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Stafford, more consistent player, more veteran player. As long as his back is in one piece, I think he's got to be it. So,
well, speaking of some bets, I actually like Carson Wentz. Something with the over on his rushing yards. I think he's going to be scrambling a little bit. He's going to, as an Eagles fan, I've watched Carson Wentz get very desperate and scramble and run and risk his entire life way too many times, like scarily. Like, oh my gosh, stop. It's like, hard to watch almost, but he did pick up a lot of yards doing it. So I think, especially today, he's a little rusty still, hasn't really truly played in a bit. And I think he'll be doing that today as well.
What was, do you remember what the over was?
I don't. I'll have to look it up. But I think I took him like something crazy, like over like I want to say like 8.5 yards was like a pretty decent.
Oh, okay. Well, he's at 12 right now.
Yeah. So yeah, I think
We'll see. Yeah. All right. Yeah, there's going fourth quarter. There's about 11 minutes left on that. Pittsburgh is still up 21-6.
How many? Yeah, I haven't even checked actually.
Yeah, I've got it on over here. Just kind of checking in every once in a while. My picks for, I got some DFS ones for you. Not a ton, but I got Jonathan Taylor. I'm taking the under on his rushing yards. Line is set at 88.5. Rams are giving up the least amount of fantasy points to opposing running backs, 9.7 per game. So I just think he has, like I said, we talked about him, lower your expectations today. With that being said, he's probably going to go off for like 4 touchdowns. But I got a Trey Tucker one for you also, another waiver wire darling from this week. Yeah. I'm taking over on his receiving yards at 44.5. He's gone over twice so far this season. So Bears are an absolute, sieve against the opposing wide receivers. So, and I thought, and I actually did this one. I paired it with an anytime touchdown since he's got all 4 for the Raiders so far.
Do you have him in any fantasy leagues?
I've got him in a couple, not too many. I actually don't even have him really in any best balls, but I was able to snag him in a couple leagues off of waivers. But yeah, and at first I was kind of like, all right, are we just chasing points with this, because he's obviously never going to have like another week like he had last week, where it's just absolutely insane. But then you go back and you look at the numbers and you look at his target share and everything, and you're like, you know what? And this is third year in the same offense. And, I'm like, okay, maybe I can buy the dip a little bit more.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. I almost hate when like players get too trendy and like everyone's adding them and it's like the hot guy of the week and it's like almost a desperation, but like, oh my gosh, he got so many points. Like that's insane. And of course no one had him for that. Like
no.
And there's like, so I saw a lot of posts going around. We even did one with James Coe, like where he puts together this like hypothetical lineup, which is like a very true lineup of like, here's just like someone who got like 30 something points for all of their players based on eggs and other like unfortunate situations happening. Meanwhile, Trey Tucker's over here dropping 40 points and like that's just nuts. Of course, again, no one had him on their team.
No,
I'm sure there's like 2 people out there somewhere
somebody had him. It was like the first week of the season, I had to start Dylan Sampson in our Queens Classic and he went off for 17 points. And like that's you're never going to get that lucky again. Like,
yeah, that's amazing. That's so cool.
I posted that on TikTok and somebody didn't believe me. They were like, you Photoshopped that. And I was like, brother, I am not Photoshopping Dylan Sampson into my lineups. Okay. I promise you that.
14-team league. I mean, that's kind of how it goes sometimes, but that's awesome that it worked out.
Yeah. Right.
Never really anyone to add in that league either. It's hard. Slim pickings for sure.
That league is so tough. All right, guys. So I want to play a little game with you, and this is just super rapid fire. Okay, so just just pick one. And I want to know for people who are out there, did you start Jordan Addison today? And obviously the game's already going on, so we can't ask who you would start him over today. But going forward, who would you start Jordan Addison over? Would you start him over Stephon Diggs?
Yeah.
I think so too. He's averaging 8.1 points per game so far. We've mentioned Calvin Ridley. Are we starting him over Ridley?
No.
Okay.
Yes. Calvin Ridley. That's my.
Are we starting him over Trey Tucker?
Ooh. Yes.
Ooh, right. Yeah, I think so. Right now, Addison, he had a nice catch early on in the game. He is at 2 receptions on 5 targets, 27 yards. But again, that Vikings offense has not done a lot today. Carson Wentz has got 2 interceptions and only 168 yards. So I don't
And
think that's
Carson
really.
Wentz is probably done now. Is this his last game for now? I
You
think
know, I think McCarthy's ankle injury gets a lot better this week.
miraculously it's better after Carson Wentz just bad.
Yeah, I think he's gonna find himself feeling a lot better this
We'll be
week.
back either next week or soon. Yeah, I mean, I think long term, Addison, I'm excited about. It's his first game back so far. So
Yeah,
I'm biased because I have him in multiple leagues. So we'll see.
same. I was stashing him literally anywhere that
Yeah,
I could stash him. So,
it's
um,
finally come.
yeah, right. All right, guys. We are gonna go head on into Maddox's Monday night predictions. My favorite
Woo!
little rookie is unfortunately 0-4
Oh,
on his picks. It's his first season, right? Like, give him a break, guys.
regression.
But this
It's gonna balance out. So this is it's gonna. There's no way he's gonna get into the.
No, no. We talked about that. Rookies take a little while to acclimate to the NFL. So same
Yeah,
for same for puppies who are taking a nap right now underneath my desk.
of course. And
But
yeah.
here we go, guys. Here are his picks. I didn't I wish that I had done that on purpose, but the way that Broncos helmet just slid right back over to the other side and started spinning was just perfection.
That's cinema right there.
Yep. He's taking the road teams again, taking the Jets and taking the Bengals. We'll see how that works out for him. Let you guys know after Monday night. Lauren, you think who's going to benefit most from these two matchups? Do you think?
For which one?
Let's start with the Miami Jets game.
Well, I mean, I think Tyreek Hill's going to do fine. And that's one of my picks in a few leagues where I'm just not feeling amazing about it, but also fine. He's doing well. I mean, I think him and Tua have something there. It's just a hard situation to be in. But yeah, I do think the Jets are going to come out on top there.
Yeah.
I hope Justin Fields, brings some yards to Garrett Wilson, and we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's a good game for Fields. I'm not so sure who I can decide benefits most from the matchup with the Bengals and the Broncos. Maybe Dobbins, like you said. I think that's the one name that's going
I
to
like
stick out to me.
Dobbins.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, I just want to, Lauren, thank you so much for hanging out with
Thank
us
you for
today and
having
spending
me.
your Sunday morning with us. Tell everybody where they can find you online. What are you up to? How can they get a hold of all your content and everything?
So I manage social media for RotoWire. My Twitter handle is at Jump Sports Talk, and follow us on RotoWire as well at RotoWire, both on Instagram and X and everywhere else, TikTok, YouTube. We got a lot of really great people with great advice there. So it's been awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks to everybody who is hanging out in the chat, all these questions that were coming in today. You guys are the best. We will be back here next week. We have got Keith Fleming from Optimus Fantasy Six Pack, and we've got Charlene Erickson joining us from Fantasy and Frames. We are going to have a great show for you, and hopefully all of your players do well today and your DFS props work. And we will see you back next week, everybody. Have a great Sunday.